Hi everybody! I hope you're all having a good day. So this is going to be a very quick tutorial on how to texture your models. So let's quickly get started. So basically, what is texturing? It's literally just adding color to your models. So let's get started with that. So first of all, what we'll be doing is we're going to be texturing this single dress. So in the previous tutorial, you saw that I've already given this dress a UV map, and we're gonna do a quick demonstration on texturing this outfit with our UV map. So now basically I'm using the by the way, in case you were wondering, I am using the little tabs, the built-in tabs of Blender where they have UV editing and the texture paint. Just as a heads up, if by any chance you need some help with navigation, please check out my previous Let's Dumbify Blender episode, so that way you can get a head start and also understand the setup and layout on these tabs. But other than that, let's quickly get started. So how do we add, so basically we need to start off with adding an image texture to this outfit. So we're going to have to go into the Materials tab. We're going to select Brand New. You're going to name it whatever it is, so I'm going to name it Dress. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move this away. I'm also going to add the screencast keys. Okay, so that's on. Good. It's weird how it's not showing up, but that's okay. Just listen to my voice and I'll show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a texture. So we're going to go to where it says Base Color. You're going to select the yellow button, and you're going to select on Image Texture. Now, most of the time, I usually would select New, and I would make a new image. But if you were taking the UV map, so just going to show you right now, in case you want to make the texture in your photo editing programs such as Photoshop, GIMP, Paint Tool SI, Paint.net, or Krita, or any, I don't care what the name of the photo editing program, just anything, even Microsoft Paint, I guess, I don't know, whatever editing program you have that allows you to paint on images, this is where you can actually export the UV map. So you can go to the UV editing tab, and where you have your UV map right here, you can select on the UV tab up here, and you can go ahead and select on export UV layout and make sure everything is selected, otherwise it might not export properly. So export UV layout, and then you can export from there, name it whatever you want, and that's pretty much it. But if by any chance you just want to do this all in Blender, you would just select Brand New, and you can name it Dress or whatever the heck. You can actually add a different color. I can set it to white by default, but you can also change the resolution. So if you're the type that wants to go 4K textures, you can. I would recommend try to avoid 4K textures unless your computer can handle it, because the more textures, if you have a lot of materials and a lot of textures on your character, it would be a best idea to stick with the 1024 by 1024. But if you want to go for insane 4K textures for your model, as long as you don't have too many textures and too many materials, you should be perfectly fine to use it. It's just a matter of whether your computer will support it and what's your taste in the texturing. But this is a pretty good resolution. Usually on by textures, you probably want to go for more higher resolution, like 2048 by 2048. But if your by texture is just a single color, you don't need to have it that high. But yeah, just a little heads up. Now, typically, especially for like VTuber models, I usually would have it set where I have this MMD add-on, which has the option to enable shadeless mode, so that way I can see like the true color for MToon. You could also just set up the shader from Principled BSDF to the MToon GLTF shader for Blender. You could do that. Whichever, those are like two methods for shadeless. I'm pretty sure there's other methods. You can edit the nodes to give that shadeless look if you want. It's whatever method. You could do a shadeless, you could not do a shadeless, you can just do it with the normal blender shader, but I typically just leave it as shadeless. And then right here, I'm going to go click up here where the texture area is, and I'm going to select on dress. And right here, I can be able to set a color right here. So select blue, and then we can like paint on it, and you can see, you can paint on it. You can also, just like in Void Studio, you can also paint on the mesh. Awesome. Very amazing. There's also some other tools you can have. So I can have a blue line here. You can soften the pixels if you like. You can also smear it. There's settings here. You can do that if you want. Clone, fill. There's actually a fill option, which even I never knew about until now. So pretty cool. Sometimes it gives me issues, but you know, it works pretty well. There's also masking. You can also use your middle mouse button and, you know, move around this area here. You can select, you know, how you want the, you know, the color to be like. So let me switch to paint. You can change it where it's multiply. You can change it to screen if you want, which that doesn't work. You can even erase alpha, so it, you know, you're literally erasing, so it's transparent. So if you're trying to make like a blush texture, or you're trying to add like a lot of details to your outfit, like realistic hair details or fur details, you can do that, as you can see. But you can mess around with the settings. This is, you know, think of it like Void Studio, basically, in a nutshell. It's just a little bit more advanced, is all I say. You can also modify how strong you want the color to be, like how much, so, hold on. So, like, you can see, if I put it here, you can see a little faint blue. And yes, it can also kind of, like, overlap too, like this. So you can do that. You can change the radius to be super big if you want. You can mainly just mess around with this. This can also adjust the stroke method. There's a fallout, which this is kind of like basically editing the smoothness of the brush. Like how, so like the, hold on, actually I'm going to show you. So fallout, if you select this one right here, this usually gives you like a more softer looking brush. But if you were to select like the one that looks like a table, the more harsher it is, basically. So it adjusts like the softness of the brush. You can change the tip of it. You can even you can also add textures to the brush itself and all that. You can do a lot of stuff with this. It's a matter of like, you know, playing around with the settings, experimenting. There's also other guides that kind of go more in depth on the texture paintbrush tools and all that. There's a lot of good tutorials out there. I highly recommend. But you know, this is pretty basic. Pretty much Blender pretty much has like the basics, but if you have specific needs for your brushes and all that, you could have your custom brushes in Blender. So like you could go into this tab right here, the little workshop tab right here, the workspace on this tab right here, and you can kind of have more control on the setup here. So like it gives you a better view on like the setup. So you can change the color, set it to gradient or whatever the heck, just mess around with this really, and all that. And you can also kind of save like presets of your brushes if you want, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of it about the you know, texture paint. It's pretty simple. Now this, like, sometimes depending on the mesh, there could be some like things you have to do. So like if your mesh was all in like a single piece and you're trying to texture and all that, or you could go into the edit mode and you can always like, you know, select the vertice, so vertice mode, Control L, P, separate by selection, all that. In this case, the mesh is already separated, but whenever I have, I do my commissions and I have an artist who wants to texture the mesh and stuff, typically I would have the mesh joined together, so, just to keep it simple, but, you know, you could separate parts of the mesh if you want to try and, like, have a more precise detail, so, like, especially hair. If you have like a hair mesh you download online and you want to like separate each hair strand, you want to like be able to texture it easily, you can just like do the split, the separation thing, and that should definitely help you with splitting up the mesh. Like the wings right here, you can do Control L and stuff like this, and you can separate, and then you can paint that one individual little feather. So yeah. That's kind of another tip in case you're wondering. Okay, so just gonna let you know right now as well that you can actually export texture images from Blender, so that way you can put it into photo editing programs. As I said before, you know, if you have Photoshop, GIMP, Paint Toolside, Paint.net, Krita, any photo editing program, I don't care what name it is, you can export images and you can put them on those programs. So how do you do that? Well, you can go to the image tab right here, and then you can save as, and then you can name your texture and save as image, and you know, that's pretty much it. You can go edit that image to your photo editing program if you don't like Blender setup and you have your custom brushes and all that. And when you're ready with your texture, you can go to the materials tab. So make sure you're in object mode, not in texture paint. So object mode, and you can be able to press the X button on the dress, or you can simply just press the little file looking button right here and you can, you know, open up your image there. But yeah, overall it's not that hard. If by any chance you're still confused, you know, let me know in the comments if you're still confused. If you need a private tutor, check the description because I have my Discord name. I highly recommend do not join the server, because the server, I have that set for those who want to engage in my community. If you want just the private tutor, you just want only 3D help and not interact with my community, please use only the Discord name. Add me as a friend. I will accept your request, and you know, we can talk, ask your questions, and I will try my best to help you out. We can also do a screen share call in case you need more help and a more better explanation to how to navigate with Blender and how to do stuff. So yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it on the basics of texture paint. I really do hope that this helps you out. And if I forgot something, please let me know and I'll gladly add that as a pinned message. But yeah, have a lovely day, everyone. And yeah, hey, sayonara, everyone. See you guys next time. Bye.